All right, let's just jump right in with a wild thought experiment. What if you took the ultimate Boy Scout, a hero so pure he's practically glowing, and you dropped him smack dab into the absolute worst place in the universe? I'm talking about Warhammer 40,000's 41st Millennium. It's a really cool question, and believe me, the answer tells you everything you need to know about what grimdark truly means.
And to really get what happens next, you have to wrap your head around this one quote. See, the 40K galaxy, it's not a battlefield, it's a wound. This isn't your classic good versus evil story. No way. Think of it more like a patient that's already been told they're terminal. The entire universe is just bleeding out. And everything everyone does is just trying to put a little pressure on that wound to slow the inevitable.
Yeah, this right here, this is the core of the problem. It's not about good guys fighting bad guys. It's like trying to run Windows software on a Mac, but on a cosmic scale. They are fundamentally incompatible. You've got the hero's code, right? Save everyone, don't kill, hope is good. Then you've got the 41st Millennium's logic. People are bullets, sacrifice is mandatory, and hope will get you killed. They just don't compute.
So let's get into it. This galaxy doesn't just dislike heroes, it actively rejects them. And it all comes down to one foundational principle: attrition. I mean, just let that sink in. The value of your life is measured in how slowly you can be sacrificed. So when a hero shows up whose entire deal is saving lives, well, he's not just a fish out of water. He's a walking, talking, existential threat to the whole system. So, you gotta wonder, how did the big players in this galaxy handle this anomaly? And this is where things get really interesting. We're going to look at a few examples of how this hero's greatest virtues, well, they become straight-up heresies in this universe. So let's start with this question. What do you think happens when an act of total peace meets a species that is literally made for war? Let's look at the Orks. Our hero shows up, right? And instead of a big brawl, he just non-lethally pacifies the entire invasion, takes apart their tanks, knocks everyone out, no one dies. So what's the result? Well, it's a disaster. By denying the Orks a good scrap, he broke the psychic energy that holds their society, their very reality together. The report said the Orks stopped laughing. Think about that. He didn't save them. He broke their brains. Okay, next up, the Adeptus Mechanicus. These are the tech priests of the Imperium. For them, machines are holy and flesh is weak. So you can imagine their reaction when they start studying our hero. So the Mechanicus runs their scans, and what they find just doesn't make sense. First, there are no augmetics, no gene mods, nothing. So where is all this power coming from? It's completely unsanctioned. Second, his body is basically a perfect biological engine, turning sunlight into force. That's impossible. But the real kicker? This thing, this flesh machine, it doesn't degrade. It doesn't decay. It violates the most fundamental law of the universe that their entire religion is based on. This isn't a miracle, it's blasphemy. So what's their final verdict? Not ally, not asset, it's ontological anomaly. Basically, a glitch in reality itself. His perfection wasn't a gift, it was an insult. If he can exist, then their entire belief system, their machine god, it's all pointless. All right, so what about the big bads? What about chaos? These guys are literally made of negative emotions. They tried everything. Temptation? Nope. Fear? Didn't work. Pure, unfiltered rage? He just shrugged it off. But the really wild part isn't that he resisted, it's how he resisted. See? Chaos feeds on emotion. Faith, hate, fear, it's all food to them. But our hero? He didn't give them anything. He was just clear, pure. There was nothing for them to grab onto. The warp didn't just fail, it recoiled. It's like it tried to take a bite, and there was just nothing there. He wasn't a meal, he was an empty plate. And that was something they just couldn't comprehend. So the aliens don't get him, the daemons can't touch him, but the Imperium of Man? Oh, they understood the danger perfectly. And they realized it wasn't about his strength. The real threat was the idea he represented. Because wherever he went, saving people without asking for a single sacrifice in return, something started to spread. A side effect. And it was more dangerous than any plague. It was hope. People started looking around and thinking, hey, maybe we don't have to live like this. Maybe there's another way. And for a system built on mindless sacrifice, that thought is pure poison. So the Inquisition gives him an official label, and it's not alien threat or demon host. They call him a counter-narrative, which is just a fancy way of saying his very existence tells a different story. A story that, if it spreads, could bring the entire Imperium crashing down. And they knew they couldn't just kill him. That would make him a martyr, which is even worse. So they did something much, much smarter and much more cruel. They didn't try to assassinate him. They decided to educate him. They took him on a little field trip to see the Golden Throne. And there, they laid out the awful truth of their universe, the grim bargain. They told him, look, you can save people, you can bring hope, but if you do, our brutal system of sacrifice breaks down, and if that happens, we can't hold back the tide of aliens and monsters. Our worlds will burn, and chaos will get a feast of 1 trillion screaming souls. They put him in an impossible trap. They showed him that his heroism here would be the very thing that damned everyone. So what do? What does a perfect hero do when he's shown that the only way to save everyone is to become a monster? There was really only one choice. He left. That's it. He just left. He wasn't defeated in a fight. He wasn't corrupted. He was rejected. The universe itself, the very system of survival, couldn't handle him. Because to stay, to fix it, he'd have to become part of the machine. Another tyrant making horrible choices for the greater good. And that was the one thing he would never do. And what did the Imperium do? They took every record of him, sealed it away in the deepest, darkest archive, and they gave it a final classification. The perfect, most chilling summary of the 41st millennium you could ever imagine. Hope classified as contamination. And that really leaves you with one final haunting question, doesn't it? If a society reaches a point where hope itself is treated like a virus, a contaminant that has to be purged for survival, isn't that society already doomed? It's something to think about, and it's really the heart of what makes this grim, dark future so compelling.